Well, back in Ipswich, the tributes continue to arrive from all over the country as well. The scarves from clubs are here. We've got one from Chelsea. Let's just have a little look more at some of the other actual tributes, say floral and also written as well. Here's a very poignant card from somebody. Thank you for all the wonderful football you gave me during my childhood. I'll never forget it. You're a legend and will always be. Rest in peace. Always a blue. Here's another one. A sad day. Football has lost a true gent. Sir Bob, rest in peace. They're signed by a whole load of Ipswich fans and lovers of Sir Bobby Robson. Tony here as well, just reflecting on what you're seeing here, an Ipswich fan. What's your memory that you would pick out of Sir Bobby Robson?
Well, mainly as an Ipswich legend, but as you read across, clearly a world football legend. For me, I got to experience the smile that you see there at first hand, but having sat on the bus as the Ipswich Town team went around the town, I sat along with Sir Bobby and the fans. We love you, Bobby. Sir Bobby, I was there. We shared that moment, and he said, this is great, this is lovely, and I said, that is, but Sir Bobby, you're lovely, you're great, they love you. That's one of the moments I'm going to remember.
Tony, thank you very much for that reflection on there. And there are plenty more of those wherever you look here this evening at Portman Road. We're going to have more reflections shortly, but for now, back to Becky in the studio.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, it's good to have you with us this Friday evening. In a moment, all the news from your part of the region. Amanda's here with the weather, plus.
Over the years, it's brought pleasure to millions of people. A special anniversary for one of the region's top tourist attractions.
And we all know it, but here's the confirmation. July's been a wet one. That makes it 9 out of 10 in the past decade. So after another wet July, what does the weather hold for the start of August? The full weekend forecast is later in the programme.
Now for more news from Norfolk, Suffolk and Essex. 7 families were evacuated from their homes after a blaze in a house near Harlow in Essex. The fire started last night in the upstairs of a home in a row of terraced houses in Beercroft. Claire McGlasson reports.
1 terrace, 8 houses, but today only 6 are still standing. Crews were called to Beercroft in Harlow just before 11 o'clock last night after flames started in the first floor of one of the homes, then spread along the loft space, damaging a total of 7 houses. 30 people were forced to leave and they will have to stay in temporary housing until the damage has been investigated. Essex police have arrested a 29-year-old local man in connection with a fire. Their investigations continue. Claire McGlasson, Anglia News.
It was another frustrating day for thousands of rail commuters as staff at National Express East Anglia continue to strike over pay. They began their industrial action yesterday with the rail firm running just 100 services instead of the usual 1,800. Another 3 48-hour strikes are planned. A largely normal service is expected tomorrow, although some early morning services could be disrupted. Firefighters in Essex have voted to take industrial action over plans to cut 49 jobs by next year, but will stop short of a full strike. In a ballot with a 70% turnout, members of the Fire Brigades Union voted in favour of action. Chief Fire Officer David Johnson said savings have to be made. A centre at Sudbury in Suffolk for elderly people with Alzheimer's has been broken into. Thieves stole food, items being collected for charity shoeboxes, and even the pet canary. Alpa Patel reports.
Wanton damage by heartless thieves. The Chilton Day Centre in Sudbury provides vital support for older people with Alzheimer's and dementia. But it's been shut for 2 days after it was broken into.
They needed to get into the shed and they'd taken the mobile scooter, mobility scooter, and lots of food in different areas been taken. All our Christmas gifts for Romania, we'd got some gift wrapped boxes, gift wrapped ready for Romania, and sadly they'd strewn all over the floor and taken the gifts and taken what was inside.
But the intruders didn't stop there. Rodney, the centre's beloved pet canary, was also stolen. He was good for morale and was also used as a communication aid for those with severe dementia. Outside the garden has been put back together after it too was vandalised. The police are investigating the break-in, but staff say all will be forgiven if the thieves can do one thing.
Could you bring Rodney back, please? Very importantly. It's sad, really. In today's world, this is sad that these things happen. And maybe had they known where they were coming, they may not have entered this building. So it's caused quite a lot of disruption in lots of different ways.
Alpa Patel, Anglia News.
A coach company that tried to charge a blind woman from Suffolk for taking her dog on board has now apologised and said it won't do it again. Chambers coaches wanted Leslie Bannister from Gate Cornard near Sudbury to pay twice for taking her guide dog Nina to Surrey. The company's now visited Leslie and offered her next journey free. Large swathes of the coastline in our region are apparently not accessible to the public. Natural England has published a map showing the areas which do not have a legally secure path to them, and they want to rectify that problem, as Kate Prout now reports.
Well, on a day when the sun is finally shining, can there be anything better than enjoying the 500 or so miles of coastline that we're lucky enough to live near? But if you're a walker, then apparently your choice of coastline is rather limited. Natural England have mapped the entire coastline of the country to see how much is accessible. In our part of the world, they say more than 30% isn't walkable, and they want that changed.
It's a crowded country, but we also have a lot of very beautiful countryside. Winston, where we are here now, is a very good example of that. We've got one of Norfolk's finest natural environments, wonderful dunes, beautiful beaches, beautiful sea. We firmly believe that if the project is well managed, there is room for both people and wildlife and the needs of the natural environment.
No one lives more than 70 miles from the coast in this country, and millions visit the seaside every year, of course. But some of this land is privately owned by farmers, wildlife charities and the MOD, of course. And there's been some resistance to Natural England's plan to make the coast 100% accessible.
At the moment, as the proposals stand, the routes of access would go right the way up an estuary to the lowest crossing point. When you think about that in East Anglia, that's a long way, and again it's past a lot of private housing. It's also past a lot of very valuable vegetable land and again environmental sites, conservation sites.
The CLA will appeal against Natural England's proposals. In the meantime, the rest of us can carry on enjoying those parts of our coastline we can already get to. Kate Prout, Anglia News on the Norfolk and Suffolk coast.
Two friends from Norfolk are riding their motorbikes through 7 countries in 7 days in memory of their friend who was killed in Afghanistan. Lance Corporal Ben Watley was shot on Christmas Eve, days before he was due home. His friends Robert Nash and Jason Mitchell left West Raynham yesterday and hope to reach France today. They'll travel through Switzerland, Austria, Germany, Belgium and Holland and hope to raise £2,000 for Help for Heroes.